Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Saletti, and it's Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. And your new Trends Journal coming out soon. And here's your cover. Yep. It's what's going on in the world today. Everybody is about the Walking Dead. See people walking down the street. They don't look at you. They don't talk to you. It's dumb fuckistan. Everybody's dumb fucked over their damn things, man. And again, it's AI. We own you, and this is just a part of it. But that's just some of your Trends Journal. We have a whole special section on AI, brought to you by Ben Davis and Joe Duran. And of course, your new Trends Journal filled with other information, particularly what's going on in the economy and geopolitics. And on the economic front, there's just the markets. Again, the trend is your friend, and we're the only ones in the world giving you in-depth socioeconomic, geopolitical trends analysis and trend forecasts. There are a wide variety of trends. Nobody else does that. You know why they don't do it? They don't know how. That's right. They don't teach trend forecasting in Harvard or Princeton or Yale or anywhere else because they don't know how to do it, and we do. So there you go. And matter of fact, this is one of my books. Trend Tracking, Far Better Than Megatrends, Time Magazine. All right, so we've been at this, going on for, will be 44 years. Trends Journal since 1991. So, and again, to subscribe, you go to trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. We're giving you what you're not getting anywhere else for the grand total of $2.86 a week, nothing. New York Times, the toilet paper record. I got to read that thing every day to find out what's going on so I know where they're going. $4 a day. $4 a day, and I'm lucky if I get one trend-worthy story out of each magazine, each new Trends Journal. Anyway, they just came out with this report from NBC, and it says inflation is driving up consumer credit card debt by billions of dollars. The combination of inflation and climbing interest rates seems to be stretching consumers' balance sheets. Newly released data from Wallet Hub says U.S. consumers took on, you ready? $43 billion in additional credit card debt during the second quarter of this year, which ended in June. That's more than triple the average amount of new debt households have taken on in that period after the Great Recession of 2007, 2008, which ended, by the way, in around 2012. And I had forecast that there'd be a crash in 2012, and I was 100% wrong. You know why? Because they didn't teach me about zero interest rate policy, making up fucking scum bullshit of inflation target of 2%, or a thing called quantitative easing. We're going to buy corporate debt and government debt. Don't worry about it. They didn't tell me that the Federal Reserve dumped in $29 trillion to the central banksters to pump them back up. And the banks, rather. They didn't tell me that. So I didn't know that would happen. We are on the crash of a lifetime. This inflation is real. Hey, did you see the oil prices? Brent crude, almost $92 a barrel. You know what it was back in June? Around $70 a barrel. That's right. It's up over $20 a barrel since June. Inflation, and now the winter's coming. And the Ukraine war's heating up. Because as we detail in this Trends Journal, more and more weapons of death coming to you from another country in NATO and the United States. The United States has now spent more than $100 billion of our money to keep bloodying the killing fields over there. As inflation's skyrocketing and the economy's going down. But that's what it is. Yep, George Washington a real man, farewell address, no foreign entanglements. So going back to your Trends Journal, we have the economic update. You're not going to want to miss it. Market overview. We're looking at the job market. It's worse than what they're talking about, much worse. And it's only going to get a lot worse as the economy slows down and interest rates go up. So now what we're looking at in the coming week, we're looking at whether or not the Fed is going to raise interest rates. And some scumbag just came in, some prick busted in and started yelling. That I am one of the most hated people up here in Kingston because I launched Occupy Peace, Peace and Freedom. And they hate peace and freedom. They hate me because I had peace and freedom rallies when everything was locked down. So we just had a guy break in just now. One of my guys had to throw him out. So that's why I lost a little bit of where I was going. So do what you can to support us because we're doing everything we can to support you. And we're giving you a magazine that's like nothing else in the world. And contribute to Occupy Peace. We can keep having these rallies. Because if this guy came to me and tried to do what he just did, he'd be on his back for breaking into my building. So, moving forward here, U.S. home prices are on the rise. That's right. Go back to your Trends Journal when everybody was saying that they're going to crash the housing market because interest rates are going up. We said, no, that's not going to happen. What's going to crash is the commercial real estate sector. And now they're coming out with one article after another about how people don't want to go to work 5 days a week. But in none of these articles are they talking about how you're going to have less tenants and how the landlords aren't going to be able to pay their mortgages. Not a word. The banking bust has just become a reality. That's going to happen when the markets start going down. And we maintain our forecast that the market's going to go down in September and October. And it may well crash in October. That's the crash signal. What else do we got here? U.S. is facing a real estate doom loop. And again, not in the residential sector. And by the way, when interest rates go down, you're going to start seeing housing prices going down. Because right now it's a supply and demand issue. And people with people aren't selling out because your interest rate, your mortgage rates are so high. How are they going to buy something else? But when rates go way down, you're going to see prices go down as well. Not a lot. De-dollarization, one of our global economic trends. When the economy falls, jobs go with it. This is our 53rd week of doing this. Global growth, where's it going to go in 2024? It's slowing down. You're getting a lot of reversals coming in now from the major IMF, World Bank, one after another telling you how bad it is. And in Europe, a recession is on the way, particularly in Germany, the fourth the fourth largest economy in the world. And we have a load of articles in here about what's going on in Germany and what's going on in the EU. And now the holiday season is over. So reality is going to start setting in the Northern Hemisphere as things get cold and people that warmed up during the summer start chilling out. So you're going to start seeing a real decline in consumer spending because it was spending in the service sector that drove up the economy. But now we're looking at particularly the PMI, the Purchasing Managers' Index in China, in Europe, going down, particularly in Japan. What else do we have here? Spotlight on Europe going down. Yep, a whole bunch of articles, more on office building bust. Spotlight China's economic struggle. And Ukraine war trend update. Yep. Here's one you like. Eastern European countries want no peace in Ukraine. Nazi time? That's right. I'm not making that up. The facts are all there. Yep. The most pro-Nazi nations are now the most anti-Russian nations. The ones that supported the Heil Hitlers. And what else do we have? Top Ukrainian official agrees with Zelensky. World War III has begun. Putin calls Ukraine counteroffensive a failure, but not in America. We got this guy Kirby, the mouthpiece for America, says, get in line, criticizing Ukraine's counteroffensive is not helpful. Do you imagine how stupid that is? Of course it is. It's dumbfuckistan. Everything is stupid. And again, we keep going on. Featured guest articles by John and Nisha Whitehead. This one is the next crisis is anyone's guess, but the government is ready to lock down the nation. And that's exactly what it's going to do. And now you're seeing more and more COVID scare coming out. And now they're telling little babies to get the jab, infants. Yep. Trends in Technocracy by Joe Duran. There ain't no man other than Joe Duran. Be Human, one of his books. Whoop. That's what we're giving you in Technocracy. Plus AI by Joe Duran, AI section, and by Ben Davis, a whole AI section. Trends in cryptos, trends in the COVID war. Yep. Here's one of the articles. Make sure you wear those masks and get a good whiff of toxins. Again, a whole load of stuff. Trends in geopolitics, what's going on in Africa, what's going on in Niger, Gabon. What's a Gabon? Hey, nobody knows, but that's all right. You don't have to worry about it because it's a whole it's a whole movement against French colonization. They want the French out of there. The French destroyed, raped, and robbed, pillaged a lot of Africa, and they still want to stay there to get cheap natural resources, particularly uranium. Again, you see in Japan spending more money on their military budget, Sweden spending more money on their military budget, Germany spending more money on their military budget as their economies are in trouble. So what else do we have? Trends I Views, Trends in High-Tech Science by Ben Davis. Again, we're giving you everything we can. Your whole Trends I section. Again, your Trends Journal that came out back in October of 1999, .com this. We said there'd be a .com bust. This is no bust. The AI is real. And we're going to lose a lot of jobs and a dumbing down of society that goes back with the cover of this Trends Journal. The Walking Dead. AI is going to deaden the brain even further. So that's where we're at. And it's going to get worse because the politicians are going to destroy us. And that's why you need to get one of these shirts from Trends Journal. Hey, politicians, who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? And we got the dead politicians telling us what to do. Out of his mind, Biden, see him in Hanoi at that speech. Yep, couldn't finish it, got him off stage. Frozen dead. McConnell, American way, left and right, they're both out of their minds. And by the way, Biden went to Ukraine, to Vietnam. We're getting in a special relationship with Vietnam so we could fight China. And this is the Biden that got a bunch of draft deferments during the Vietnam War, and then said that he had the asthma as a kid, so he couldn't go in, but he bragged that he was a great athlete. Yep, this is the Biden. Remember, we were supposed to hate those commies, that those dominoes keep falling, like Biden keeps falling, and they're going to hit all across Asia, and it's all going to be communist China, communist Asia. And the dominoes, I'm not making this up, will keep falling until they hit the shores of California. That's what they said. Those are the Vietnamese that are still the same communist government. The hypocrisy of this. They teach you to hate people that they want you to hate. But hey, when it comes to making money, it's a different deal, because Vietnam is America's second largest importer of clothing and shoes. That's right. The second largest importer. You never hear about those commie commie Vietnamese anymore. And again, I went to Vietnam in 1996. My buddy, Gary, and Abatelli. And they treated us really nice. We were among the first Americans that went there. We went all the way from the Mekong Delta up to Hanoi. So the propaganda, like they tell us to hate Japan, but now they're our great ally that bombed Pearl Harbor. And now they're increasing their military defense spending. They tell us to hate the Germans, of course, World War II, Heil Hitler, but now they're our great ally and they're increasing their defense spending. It's a sick world, and the sick heads are in charge. So we're giving you everything we can to change this. So you do what you can to support us, because we're doing everything we can to support you. And we're helping you get history before it happens, because the times ahead are going to be a very rough road, and you better plan for it. Prepare, prevail, and prosper. Subscribe to the Trends Journal, trendsjournal.com, and please send out this link to get more people to watch, because we're in very dangerous times, as you can see. What just happened over here with them trying to break in here. Yep, because I speak about peace and freedom as a warrior for the Prince of Peace, which these satanic little ballless boys hate. So thanks for tuning in, and don't forget tomorrow, Celente and the Judge, Judge Andrew Napolitano, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. See you then.
The Trends Journal, the best investment you could make, because it's the best investment into your mind, and it can change how you look at the world.
His work is actually a gold mine. Anybody interested in politics, political trends, economic trends, social trends, cultural trends, you have to follow him, Gerald Celente.
The Trends Journal is one of the greatest sources of information, and and it really is. You're predicting these things well ahead of time. I would encourage everyone to go grab the latest copy.
Been a Trends Journal subscriber for 20 years. I just have to commend you. What you guys have put together in your latest Trends Journal, there's nothing like this out there.
Sir, everything that you predicted about the economy, you were absolutely right. So I have followed you all this time. So please take a look at the Trends Journal.
You correctly forecast that the Fed would hike rates quite aggressively, correctly said that initially gold and silver would drop as the Fed starts to raise rate to 1.5% and above. When we spoke last, Bitcoin was around 49,000. You said you expect to drop, and if it drops below 30, 35, then it could really drop.
Trends Journal, which I would encourage people to go and check out. It's actually a 200-page document, pure data-driven analysis.
Gerald Celente, the top trends forecaster in the world. Gerald, you had an interesting call back in September of last year. You said gold had bottomed, which is exactly what happened. And here we are, and we're above $1,900.
Subscribe to the Trends Journal. Read history before it happened at trendsjournal.com.